Hi accounting class. In this video we are going to go over how to compute partial year depreciation. So up to this point we've done regular depreciation. So when I say regular depreciation, that is basically a full year. So you purchased the asset on January 1st. However, in the real world, most times assets are not purchased on January 1st. For this class, they will either be purchased on the first of the month. So for example, it could be April 1st. If they're purchased on April 1st, then you will count the month of April. If they're purchased on April 30th, you will count the very next month. So you will not start counting for your fraction, in that case if it's April 30th, until May. You always want to think as well, to come up with your fraction, you want to think a calendar year. It could be a fiscal year as well, but for our class in this particular problem, it will be a calendar year. Okay? All right, so I'll go over the fraction in a minute. All right, so let me step back, and I've already started this particular problem, but let me read it to you. Assume that on September 30th, 2017, boom, I stop right there. It's depreciation. It's telling you September 30th, they purchased an airline. That's going to be partial year depreciation. Next thing I want you to think before we go over this problem is one of the methods. It will not matter when you purchase the asset. So I want you to think for a second, which method would it not matter when you purchase the asset? Units of production. Units of production, you're always going to take the number of miles used during the year. So units of production, you will do exactly the same way that you did last week. It's straight line and double declining that you'll do something different. Okay, here's the problem. Assume that on September 30th, 2017, EuroAir, an international airline based in Germany, purchased a jumbo aircraft at a cost of 45 million euro. The symbol for the euro is right here. Okay, the EuroAir expects that the plane to remain useful for 4 years or 4 million miles and to have a residual value of 6 million. EuroAir will fly the plane 350,000 miles during the remainder of 2017. Okay, we're going to use that in a minute. All those numbers are thrown at us. Let's break it down. Over to the side is where I have all the factors. The cost is 45 million. The residual value is 6 million. Useful life is 4 years. The total useful life in miles is 4 million. Do the same when you're working on these problems. Write down the particulars. All right, so now in red, I'm going to do the problem. So straight line, remember that's your easiest method. You're going to take cost. You will minus out your residual value. You'll divide the total value by the number of years, 4 years, and that will equal, let me grab this, $9,750,000. Okay? All right, now that's for the year. This is not computing partial year yet. All right, now all you're going to do is you're going to take this number, your yearly figure, and multiply it by the number of months that have gone by that you will depreciate it. Okay, so they purchased it on September 30th. Well, you won't start counting for depreciation until October. So you're going to count the month of October, the month of November, and the month of December. So your numerator would be 3. Your denominator is 12. So 12 months in a year, 3 months have gone by. Multiply it out, 9,750,000 times 3/12. So your answer for straight line will be 2,437,500. Okay, so your depreciation expense for the year, and we'll only do 1 year for these. Okay, so straight line, your answer would not be, everybody listen and don't make this mistake on your exam, would not be 9,750,000. It would be 2,437,500. Okay, now let's do units of production. Remember, there's 2 steps for units of production. The numerator is exactly the same, so I'm just going to copy that right down. Minus 6 million, your residual value. Divide that by, it's the denominator that's different. Units of production, you're trying to figure out the rate per mile. So I want to go over here. I want my largest non-dollar figure in the problem, which is 4 million. I divide it out. I like decimals. Okay, so your decimal will be, and be careful with where the software is telling you to round. So you're going to round it 2 places, 9.75. Okay, so that's your rate. You're not done. You got to take that rate, you bring it right down here, 9.75. Then I look back into the problem. How many miles did they say they're going to fly this plane for the year? $350,000. So now I take the 350, I multiply it out, and I come up with 3,412,500. Remember, units of production, we don't have to multiply it by a fraction, because this method you actually multiply by the number of miles you used during the year. So if you bought it at the end of the year, you're not going to have as many miles. So your final answer for this one, 3,412,500. Do not multiply it by a fraction. All right, now let's do double declining. Double declining, your cost is 45 million. Remember, double declining, do not subtract salvage value in the beginning years. It's at the end that you look at salvage value. That's what you will still have left, not in this video. This is only for 1 year. So you're going to take 45 million, that's the cost. All right, remember, how do you get the rate? You take 1 that never changes, divide it by the number of years, 4. That equals 0.50. All right, I like decimals. I know you're looking at the answer from the publisher. They're using a fraction. No, I think whatever way you want to do it, as long as you come up to the correct answer, but I would use the decimal. All right, so 0.50. 45 million times 0.50. So our depreciation expense for the year regular is 22,500,000. Okay, we're not done. It's partial year. Be very careful when you read these problems. I can't stress it enough. Read to see when they purchased the asset. If they purchased the asset on January 1st, yes, your answer would be 22,500,000 for depreciation expense, but they did not. So you're going to multiply it by, they purchased it on September 30th, October, November, December. Your numerator will be 3. Your denominator will be 12. You multiply it out, 22,500,000 times 3/12, and you get 5,625,000. Let me circle that and let me make this clear. Your answer is not 22,500,000. Your answer is 5,625,000 because it's partial year. Let me make this point again. This was September 30th. If they purchased it on September 1st, that would change your fraction. You would count September. So you'd count September, October, November, December. That would change that fraction to 4/12, okay? So make sure you understand, and that's it for partial year depreciation. Get into the lab, do the homework, and then you're all set. I'll see you soon.